It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Beavertown Brewery, and this is the can of their Solar Flare Hazy Double IPA, coming in at 8% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. There's a look at the can. Lots of skeletons like floating around inside the sun there. It's quite an interesting looking can. Now, what I've read on the back of the can here, I don't normally read the backs of the can, but in big, bold writing, do not age. Do not age. Have a look at that. So my question to you guys is, or my answer to what's on the back of the can is, with the do not age, is what would happen? What would happen if you decided to age this can of beer? Well, it would become a barley wine. You could age this beer if you wanted to. You could buy 2 cans of this. You could drink a fresh version, write down all of your notes, what you're getting, what you're enjoying from the hops. And then your second can, you could pull out in maybe, I don't know, 3-4 years time. Drink the same beer, store it in a cool cupboard, out of the temperatures of the sun, and what you will find is that you have something much more malty, bready, biscuity. A lot less of that kind of hop content has fallen away. So they're right in saying do not age, because they want you to drink this hazy double IPA fresh with all of the hops in. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't. Anyway, let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. Nice glug on the pour. That would indicate that maybe they've added some oats to the beer. A little bit of a creamy oatiness. It was £4. This can of beer cost me £4. It's a brand new release in Tesco as of June 2022. We got a 2-finger white head. Hazy straw-coloured beer. Nice levels of carbonation rolling up the side of the glass. Quite small carbonation, but yet there's enough there. Let's get the aroma on the beer then. Oh, now then. Lots of tangerine. Spicy, peppery, but tangerine at the same time. A little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of white grape. I've been quite impressed. This is the 3rd beer that I've had from Beavertown that's launched into Tesco in the last week or two. And I've been quite impressed with the Beavertown beers that have launched into Tesco's. They've all been quite solid. From the Hazy IPA at 4.5% ABV to their IPA to now to this double IPA. I haven't tasted this double IPA yet, but the aroma is just... It's got my saliva glands going. It's got me kind of chewing the curd type of thing. It's really quite nice. Passion fruit, mango, grapefruit, orange peel, fleshy blood orange. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Yeah. Juicy. Juicy, more juicy. Now, let me remind you, this is 8% ABV. 8%. The double IPAs of old would have had a little bit of body, a little bit of mouthfeel. But Beavertown here have just gone, do you know what, we're going to give you this 8% double IPA. And we're going to make it so juicy and fresh and drinkable that, yeah, it's just going to blow your mind. And for £4 a can, really it should, shouldn't it? It should blow your mind for that price, because if you think of the buying power of Tesco, and if you think of the owner of Beavertown, which is Heineken, you wouldn't pay £4 for a can of Heineken, would you? Not in a million years. Unless you were at some kind of weird music festival where the only thing you could drink in a boiling hot field, and I've been there recently, is Thirsty Ferret or Heineken, or, you know, you're stuck in a field and you have to buy that beer for that price. But if you walked into the supermarket, you wouldn't buy Heineken for £4, would you? A can of Heineken. But you would buy this, which is a company that's owned by Heineken. But they're still producing. They've turned a corner. I'm going to say, right now, Beavertown have turned a corner. I think there was enough people out there that were outraged that Gamma Ray wasn't the beer of old. Remember Gamma Ray? Gamma Ray used to be a tremendous IPA. It really did. One of the best IPAs that you could get your hands on, in a kind of a generic form. In a kind of a, you could get it everywhere, but it was really good. And then Heineken bought Beavertown and the quality just fell off a cliff. Neck Oil used to be a terrific beer, not so much anymore. But I think Heineken have realised, they've realised that they bought this brand, they've slightly messed up. And this, or this release of beers, the 3 beers that I've had from Tesco in the last week, has almost been a recognition of, we buggered up a bit here. We made a bit of a mess of the purchase of Beavertown. We made a bit of a mess of their beers. But hold on, all is not lost. All is not lost. We're going to go back to the roots of what Beavertown once were. I hope so. I don't think they'll ever get back to that, where Beavertown released a beer on Instagram and it would be sold out within minutes. I remember the days of that 6-7 years ago, where Beavertown would be like, oh, we got this new beer, they'd launch it on Instagram, you'd rush to their website, try and buy it, and it'd be sold out. That was probably one of the reasons why Heineken bought Beavertown in the first place. I don't think they will ever get back to that. What I would like to take from this is that if I went to Tesco to buy some craft beer, all of a sudden I'm not turning my nose up now to Beavertown. All of a sudden I'm not going, do you know what? I'm not going to buy Beavertown because I don't like Gamma Ray anymore, or I don't like Neck Oil anymore. I'd be looking to these new cans of beer that they've just released as of early June 2022, and I'd be thinking, it's really solid craft beer. It really is. It's like they're learning on the job. They're learning from the mistakes that they've made over the last 4, 5, 6 years. And that they want Beavertown to have this name of being a solid craft brewer. This is decent stuff. It's nicely balanced. There's a little bit of bitterness on the back end, a little bit of sweetness to begin with. It's passion fruit, mango, grapefruit, orange peel, fleshy blood orange. It's good. It's good, and so it should be for that £4 a can price point. So it should be. Right, there's not much on the back of the can to read. It's all kind of just generic malt information and store upright and don't age and kind of all that kind of stuff that we don't like to read on the back of the can. But what's most important is that if you go to your local Tesco store and you pick up a can of Solar Flare Hazy Double IPA 8% ABV, then you might be spectacularly surprised by the quality of this beer. I will say, if you're watching this review in August, September, October, and the beer's not kind of doing the same thing that it was doing for me, then maybe you've picked up an old can. Maybe it might be worth kind of checking the bottom of the can to see the... So this can here, 23rd of the 2nd, 2023, is the best before date. So if you have the same best before date that I have, then you're drinking an old can. Because I get it these days. I get reviews where people go, oh, you know, it's not the same beer as the one that you reviewed. I totally get that. I totally get that, because sometimes in supermarkets, beer can sit there for quite a long time. But rating for this beer, would I buy it again? Yes. Would I drink it again? Yes. Do I think Beavertown have hit a little bit of form again? Yes. Do I think Heineken have let their grip off a little bit in terms of kind of making them a generic brand? Yes. Is that a good thing? Of course it is. I'd like to see this as the future of Beavertown. The future of Beavertown is decent craft beer at a decent price in your local supermarket. I like this. I like it enough. For a double IPA, I like that enough to give it a Stone the Crows. For the money, for that £4 a can, I like that enough to give it a 9 out of 10. So 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!